By the way, Trump is landing in D.C. We're going to go to if we have video and if he comes out, we'll take a peek at that. In the meantime, it's day 300 of Democrat lawmakers proving that they're members of the party of violence by doing and saying everything they can to get ICE agents hurt or killed while just doing their jobs. And clearly every last one of them has gotten the memo. And apparently Minnesota has more than one congresswoman who hates her country and its citizens.
And we are seeing indiscriminate takings of people by this masked secret police that is ICE. They are wanting to create this secret police force that has no accountability and no transparency. And I think the American public needs to ask itself, is this the country that we want to live in? We are a country of laws, and it's what has distinguished us from the rest of the world. And I think most Americans want to live in a country that follows the rule of law and the Constitution.
Good luck, Minnesota. Good luck. Like I said yesterday, Pete Hegseth for governor of Minnesota. Minnesota actually suing the Trump administration now for sending in ICE agents to remove those who are in America illegally. Minnesota, Minneapolis, a place where they just got caught with $9 billion of fraud from Somalis. Seriously, you can't make this stuff up. The state actively protects criminals and illegals in its state at the highest levels of government. But they're suing the federal government, really is suing Trump and you and me. Watch.
It feels like we have an occupying force that has come into our city. It is completely dangerous. It feels like we do not have a proper understanding of what the strategy is, what they're supposed to be doing when it comes to the federal law enforcement that has come into our community. And so it is one of those cases where it can result into a more dangerous situation. And I agree with our Attorney General, Keith Ellison, in saying we would like for you all to leave.
So, Elon, you don't understand the strategy. Is that thing up top too tight, perhaps? The strategy is removing illegals. And by the way, remove illegals in an area where, I don't know, probably a quasi-mix of legal and illegal Somalis stole $9 billion. I think right now maybe you should just zip it. As if the state of Illinois doesn't have enough to worry about. Iraq, Chirac, their attorney general also suing the Department of Homeland Security along with ICE and the CBP for carrying out the mission that was overwhelmingly voted for by the American people. Watch.
Tear gas, chemical weapons, rubber bullets, masked men carrying semi-automatic rifles and instruments of war as they intimidate, harass, and assault. These hallmarks of a war zone seen on movie screens have no place in an American city, much less at a daycare center, courthouses, in our neighborhoods, or outside our children's schools. Today, my office is taking significant action to put an end to federal agents' lawlessness in the state of Illinois.
Well, that's Kwame Raoul, the Attorney General of Illinois. I mean, Attorney General of any state or country, for that matter, is the top law enforcement officer in that state or country. And this guy has got a problem with removing illegals who are here illegally. That's all you need to know about the Democrat Party, the party of lawlessness. Love moments like this one right after Amy Klobuchar joined Anderson Cooper to talk about her state's ridiculous lawsuit against DHS and so on. He turned right around to their legal analyst, Ellie Honig, who rightfully put this nonsense where it belongs, in the trash heap.
Former federal prosecutor and CNN senior legal analyst Ellie Honig is here. Does this lawsuit have any chance of doing anything?
No, I don't think so. What they're asking, the state of Minnesota is asking a federal judge to throw ICE out of the state and to prohibit ICE from enforcing federal law in the state. There's simply no precedent for that. These lawsuits, Illinois and Minnesota both filed similar lawsuits, have no precedent cited in there. To do that would violate the supremacy clause.
No precedence means it ain't going anywhere in the courts. Joy Reid, wearing a sweatshirt that tries to fit as many wokeisms on it as she possibly can, made sure to jump into the anti-ICE fray with her very special brand of race baiting.
This woman was part of a group of people who they train to try to be ICE interrupters. Mm-hmm. And what they try to do is observe what ICE is doing, film them and try to use their white privilege, to be honest. They're mainly white people.
Which is what we ask.
Which is what we ask them to do, right? Because black people, like, we can't put our bodies on the line because cops will shoot us. And so the presumption had been, particularly a white woman, because remember, part of the rationale for doing this with ICE is to save white women, pristine white women, from being ravaged by, criminal brown men. So white women, have been taking the lead in being the ones to step.
Now, if I'm Kristi Noem, Holman, and whatnot, I pull that soundbite from the Joyless Joy Reid, because she called this woman an ICE interrupter. Call it what you want. If you call them an ICE interrupter, that by definition is illegal. You cannot interfere with a federal agent's doing its own job. You can't be an ICE interrupter. You can be a peaceful protester over there. But once you step into the mix, you're breaking the law. And I would use that soundbite against those SOBs. Speaking of race baiting, let's get right to it. Jasmine Crockett, our favorite dummy in D.C., is Texas Congresswoman who's now trying to be Texas Senator and straight up insults her own state. How exactly is it work when she is trying to get votes?
Now, some people get a little funny when you start talking about race, but this is real. There was a Trump-appointed justice. I testified because I had already sued the state of Texas because Texas is racist.
Yeah. People of Texas, you be very, very careful about electing that woman. You can stick her in the district. By the way, you'll get redistricted anyway right out of your job. You can't let this woman get into the Senate, U.S. Senate. That is a big, big mistake. Far left alliance is in full force with Pocahontas coming out to make sure that everyone knows that she thinks that New York Mayor Zohran Mamdani is on the right track when he pushes impossible socialist dreams that will only send the Big Apple right into the ground, into a fiery socialist garbage heap. It's already garbage heap, but now it'll be a socialist garbage heap.
We are not short on good ideas. And to win, every Democrat should be proposing concrete plans for lowering costs. Zohran Mamdani came from nowhere and took down a political dynasty. How? He ran a campaign tightly focused on the cost of living with easy-to-understand platform. Free buses, freeze the rent, and deliver no-cost childcare.
Unfortunately, Pocahontas, Elizabeth Warren, you're supposed to be educated. That's not how you lower costs and prices. You don't lower costs and prices by giving stuff away for free. That's how you raise it, because demand spikes up because it's free and no one can get it. So you need more and more, and then you can never afford it. So you lower costs and prices by adding supply. Demand's always going to be there. You add supply. And the way you do that is allow people to drill more oil, allow people to frack for natural gas. You lower the price because you put more supply on the market. Allow people to do business in your state. Lower your business regulations. Lower your taxes. It creates more supply of whatever the businesses are in for your state or your city. That's how supply and demand curves work. When you artificially move them, like giving stuff away for free, you screw up the whole thing and it ends up a disaster. Socialism / communism has killed over 100 million people in this world. Look it up. Killed 100 million. They starved to death. They starved to death under communism, and they'll do it again. New York's going to starve. When Pocahontas isn't idealizing socialist policies, she's telling lies. Elizabeth Warren and her fellow comrades really do think Americans are stupid. After Obamacare, which is a disaster, which she herself voted for, made healthcare costs go so high, she's still towing the party line of BS that somehow Republicans are the ones responsible for massive mistakes.
Republicans and Democrats can come together to form a healthcare plan?
It's up to the Republicans. Democrats have made clear we want to lower health care costs for Americans. Republicans passed a law last July that raised those costs for Americans, and so far they've refused to back off that. So ask the Republicans, we're still in this fight all the way to lower health care costs.
Man, the one claims to be Harvard educated. Socialism, they suck. We'll be back 2.5 minutes.